Well, well, well. If it isn't the hammer finally coming down on Michigan. 8772 Radio U. The consequences of their own actions finally coming back to bite them. A report yesterday states that Michigan football coach Sherrone Moore going to be suspended for 2 games in 2025. There's so much about this that confuses me and makes absolutely no sense to me, Allie.
Well, I think it's funny because you mentioned the hammer coming down. It's a hammer in their own hand. These are self-imposed suspensions.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they may be a tad bit trying to get some goodwill from the NCAA by being like, look, we're imposing our own little, punishments.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to punish us.
Which is the first part of what makes no sense to me.
Okay.
Is why they would do that.
Yeah.
Why you're suspending a coach that wasn't even the head coach at the time. This goes back to the Connor Stalions sign-stealing scandal, right?
Yes.
Sherrone Moore was the offensive coordinator. He wasn't even the head coach. Why is he paying the price for what happened at that time? What good does this do?
I think you got to ask Michigan that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know why. I believe the NCAA is still planning to do something. I think as far as what I've heard, it's towards the start of the season is when they're expected to release a ruling.
Mm-hmm.
So I was kind of shocked that Michigan decided to put more self-imposed sanctions down because they already did that when it first happened. I believe it was 4 games that they suspended Jim Harbaugh from, including the Ohio State game from that year. Because there was belief that they had already done sign stealing against Ohio State. And so it was kind of like, oh, it's a big deal or whatever.
A lot of good that did.
For Ohio State, yeah. But, so I was surprised to see this as well.
That doesn't make sense to me. Here's another thing that doesn't make sense. This, possibly the thing that makes the absolute least sense of all of it. He's suspended for 2 games in 2025. Sherrone Moore, coach of Michigan. For the 3rd and 4th games of the season.
Yeah, I don't know how that was determined.
He gets to coach the first 2, which I do know. One of the first 2 games is against Oklahoma, where Sherrone Moore went to college and played on their football team. So I can understand why he would want to coach in that game. But I could also understand why he would want to coach in any game.
Yeah.
Why does he get to? Why do they get to just these first 2? We'll let you coach those. 3 and 4. Against Central Michigan and Nebraska are the ones that he's supposedly suspended for. And I guess that's Michigan kind of maybe giving Oklahoma a little bit of credit of being like, we think you're a tougher game than Nebraska, which I don't think is necessarily true or a done deal. Or maybe they're just really throwing shade at Nebraska and also Central Michigan being like, we think we can beat you without our actual coach.
I think Nebraska certainly has had its struggle years over the past decade or so, even longer than that. And then Central Michigan, I mean, obviously that's not a huge opponent. But I don't know. I don't know how they came to this determination of what games would be the suspended ones for him. Maybe they let him pick. I don't know. But
Which is a crazy way to do a punishment.
Maybe, but again, this is Michigan's own punishment. This is coming from their school and their administration. So I don't know how they implemented it or how they came up with the plan, but this is what they're going with. This is, again, it's not NCAA initiated. It's just self-imposed sanctions that they put on themselves.
It says the school and the NCAA are working towards a resolution together. It says that the reports state that like the reason that he's being suspended is because when the Connor Stalions thing first came out, Sherrone Moore deleted text messages. Oh, I'm sorry. Is that a crime? And yet those were still obtained by the NCAA. They were turned over. He just deleted them at first. I'm sorry. Is it wrong to delete text messages? I do that all the time. And
it does seem a little suspicious, Hudson.
Okay, you can't be suspended for being suspicious.
Well, I just mean, have they looked into it and found something from those?
No, they obtained the text messages, and there's nothing related to the Connor Stalions thing at all. And third and finally, the sign stealing thing is apparently a level 1 violation, which is the highest violation, and which again doesn't necessarily pertain to Sherrone Moore. He wasn't the sign stealer.
We don't know that.
We don't exactly.
But I mean, maybe Michigan's like, yeah, he was a part of it, and we're gonna try and do some goodwill here.
But also, to have that be the highest level of violation you can do, it means you have your levels messed up.
Why?
He was just still getting signs.
I think that's a pretty high level problem.
It apparently wasn't, because they still kept winning even without them. So I don't understand this thing. It's such a big deal. If it wasn't even Michigan, I wouldn't get. It doesn't make sense to me.
Well, as far as like just the whole Connor Stalions thing, or just the sanctions thing.
I don't understand why the sanctions are so why people want the sanctions to be so extreme, and why now years later we're still talking about this.
This isn't extreme. As an Ohio State fan whose team had to vacate so many wins over players selling their own belongings for tattoos.
Yeah.
I can tell you this is not extreme.
That was wrong then, and this is wrong now.
But I just mean this is not extreme compared to that. They literally made them vacate wins. They're not asking Michigan to do that right now.
No, and they shouldn't. Nor should they. But what dumb punishments they gave out in the past doesn't mean they can give out dumb punishments in the present day.
It doesn't make them right. Will prove me wrong on that.
It doesn't make it right. It doesn't make it right. And we can't, just because they say you're vacating wins, we all remember. We all know what happened.
Well, I certainly do.
We remember Ohio State winning. We remember Michigan kicking Ohio State all over the place.
While you're here, you should watch more of our videos and subscribe so you don't miss what we do next.